Welcome back to our channel, friends. Today, we're going to uncover one of the biggest secrets to mastering English vocabulary: how to remember words easily and make them part of your daily speaking. You see, most learners memorize words today and forget them tomorrow. They think their memory is weak, but that's not the problem. The real problem is how they learn. Your brain doesn't store random data. It remembers connections, stories, feelings, and images. So if you connect every new English word to something meaningful, you'll never forget it again. Tip 1. Connect words with meaning, not memorization. Why this method works. Our brain loves meaning, not repetition. When we simply read and repeat a word, the mind treats it as noise. It forgets quickly. But when we attach that word to a picture, a sound, or an emotion, the brain says, "This is important." You don't remember your phone number from school, but you still remember your best friend's voice. Why? Because there's emotion and context. That's how we'll make your English vocabulary unforgettable, by turning every new word into an experience. Example: Liam from London. Let's imagine Liam, a student from London who wanted to learn Spanish. He used to memorize endless word lists. He studied for hours, but the next week the words were gone. Then one day he changed his approach. When he learned the word agua, water, he didn't just say it 10 times. He imagined holding a glass of cold water, feeling the chill, tasting the freshness. That mental image made the word stick forever. Liam realized something powerful that day. Understanding beats memorization. The brain doesn't forget what it truly feels. How you can use this method. 1. Visualize the word. When you learn a new English word, close your eyes and make a mental movie. For run, picture yourself running in the park, feeling your heartbeat. The more senses you use, the deeper the memory becomes. 2. Connect it to your life. Use the word in your own world. If you learn beautiful, don't just repeat it. Look at the sky and say, "The sunset is beautiful." 3. Add emotion. Feel something when you say the word. If you learn angry, remember a time you felt angry. If you learn proud, think of a moment that made you smile inside. 4. Create mini stories. Make one small story per word. For example, the word journey. Emma started her journey to discover her dream city. That one story makes the word come alive. 5. Group similar words. Organize them by themes, emotions, happy, proud, nervous, excited, nature, rain, cloud, storm, rainbow, travel, ticket, flight, airport, luggage. The brain remembers patterns better than randomness. 5-minute daily challenge. Pick 5 new words every morning. For each word, visualize it. Make one short sentence. Speak it aloud 3 times. It's only 5 minutes. But done daily, it will transform your vocabulary memory forever. Mistakes to avoid. Don't memorize lists without context. Don't study with your eyes only. Use imagination. Don't move on before understanding how a word feels. Remember, your brain isn't weak. It's powerful. You just need to teach it the right way. When you connect meaning to words, they become part of you. Stop memorizing like a robot. Start learning like a human, with stories, pictures, and emotions. Because real learners don't just remember English words. They live them, feel them, and never forget them. Tip 2. Use spaced repetition and active recall. Train your memory like a muscle. The hidden power of time. When it comes to learning English words, most people believe the more you repeat today, the better you'll remember tomorrow. But the truth is, your memory doesn't work that way. Your brain is not a storage box. It's a living, breathing system that grows stronger only when challenged at the right time. That's where spaced repetition and active recall come in. Two science-backed techniques that help you remember English words not for days, but for life. The problem with traditional memorizing. Think about how you normally study new words. You write a list of 10, maybe 20 words. You repeat them again and again for an hour. You feel confident. You think, I've got it. But 2 days later, you forget half of them. Why? Because your brain doesn't keep what it doesn't revisit. Just like your muscles weaken without exercise, your memory fades without practice. Spaced repetition fixes that by helping you review words at just the right moment, when you're about to forget them. That gentle reminder forces your brain to work, and that's what makes the memory stick. What is spaced repetition? Spaced repetition means reviewing information at increasing intervals instead of all at once. When you first learn a new word, you review it soon, maybe the next day, then after a few days, then after a week, then after a month. Each time, your brain reactivates the connection, making it stronger and more permanent. This method uses your natural forgetting curve. The human brain forgets new information quickly at first, but if you review before total forgetting happens, you reset the curve again and again until the word becomes a part of your long-term memory. What is active recall? While spaced repetition tells you when to review, active recall tells you how. Active recall means testing your memory instead of rereading passively. It's the process of forcing your brain to retrieve the word from memory without seeing it first. For example, if you've learned the word confident, don't just read it from your notebook again. Cover the meaning. Ask yourself, what does confident mean? Try to remember it. That small mental struggle, that little moment of silence while your brain searches, is when true learning happens. Every time you recall something without looking, your memory muscles grow stronger. Example: Ava from Manchester. Let's take Ava, a learner from Manchester who wanted to remember advanced English vocabulary. She used to write long lists in her notebook and read them every night. But by the end of each week, the words were gone. She felt frustrated and thought she was bad at learning languages. Then one day, she learned about spaced repetition and active recall. She started using flashcards. On one side, she wrote the English word. On the other, its meaning and one example sentence. Every morning, she opened her cards and tested herself. She'd look at the word and try to recall the meaning. If she forgot, she checked and moved it to the review soon pile. If she remembered easily, she moved it to the review later pile. She used this method for 10 minutes a day, no more. Within a month, she could remember and use over 200 new English words easily. The best part? She didn't study harder, she studied smarter. How you can practice spaced repetition and active recall. 1. Make flashcards. You can use real cards or apps like Anki, Quizlet, or Memrise. One side, the English word. The other side, its meaning plus a short sentence. 2. Review using intervals. Here's a simple schedule to follow. Review after 1 day. Review after 3 days. Review after 7 days. Review after 14 days. Review after 1 month. Each time, test yourself before checking the answer. 3. Speak every word aloud. When reviewing, say the word out loud in a sentence. This connects memory plus pronunciation plus confidence all at once. 4. Mix old and new words. Don't study only new vocabulary. Mix old words too. This keeps your mind flexible and strengthens retention. 5. Record yourself weekly. At the end of each week, record yourself using 10 of your words in sentences. Listen again after a month. You'll be amazed by your growth. Mini daily routine. Morning, 5 minutes. Review yesterday's words. Afternoon, 5 minutes. Test yourself on last week's words. Evening, 5 minutes. Add 3 new words and speak them aloud in sentences. That's just 15 minutes a day. But the results are lifelong. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't learn 50 new words in a single day. You'll forget 40 of them. Don't reread lists passively. Always test your memory before checking the meaning. Don't skip reviews. Missing a session breaks the chain of memory reinforcement. Don't focus only on writing. Speak and hear the words too. Remember this, you don't need a photographic memory to remember words. You just need a good system. Spaced repetition is that system. It's like watering a plant. A little every day keeps it alive forever. And active recall is like giving that plant sunlight. It makes it grow stronger and deeper. You can forget fast or remember forever. The choice is yours. So stop cramming, start training. Your brain is ready to remember every English word, if you use it the right way. Tip 3. Use stories and context. Make words unforgettable. Why stories work better than lists? Let's be honest. Nobody likes memorizing. You can write a list of 50 English words, repeat them 10 times, and maybe remember them tomorrow. But in a week, they're gone. Why? Because lists have no life. Your brain doesn't remember random data. It remembers experiences, emotions, and connections. That's why you still remember the plot of a movie you watched 5 years ago, but forget a list of words you learned yesterday. When you learn new English words through stories and real-life context, your brain sees patterns. It connects the word to people, emotions, and images. And that's how the word becomes unforgettable. The science behind context learning. Your memory works in networks, not in isolation. When you learn a new word like generous by itself, it just floats in your brain with no support. But when you learn it in a sentence like Maria is generous, she always helps her friends, the brain connects generous with Maria, helping, and friends. Now when you think of kindness or helping, your mind automatically recalls generous. That's how real fluency is built, by linking words, not listing them. Example, Sophia from Brighton. Let's take Sophia, a marketing student from Brighton. She used to memorize 10 new English words every day from a dictionary. At first, she felt great. Her notebook was full. But when she tried to use those words in conversation, her mind went blank. Her teacher then gave her a new challenge. Stop memorizing words. Start learning stories. So Sophia began reading short English stories online. She didn't translate every word. She tried to feel the meaning through the story. When she saw a new word like determined, she underlined it and reread the sentence. He was determined to finish the race, even when everyone else gave up. That sentence gave her emotion. She could imagine the runner, sweating, tired, but not giving up. Now, whenever Sophia hears determined, she feels that image instantly. She never forgot that word again. That's the magic of context. It paints pictures that never fade. How to use stories and context to remember words. 1. Learn words inside sentences. Not alone. Every time you meet a new word, look for how it's used. Example: don't memorize. Adventure equals an exciting experience. Learn it in context. We went on an adventure through the forest. The story carries emotion, and emotion keeps memory alive. 2. Create your own mini-stories. Pick 3 to 4 new words and build a short story with them. For example, if your words are challenge, brave, journey, victory, your story could be: Tom accepted a big challenge. He was brave during his journey, and in the end, he achieved victory. It doesn't need to be perfect, just meaningful. Your brain remembers stories far longer than definitions. 3. Use stories you already know. Take your favorite movie, book, or daily situation and retell it in English using your new words. If you just learned mystery or curious, describe a movie like: Sherlock Holmes was a curious detective who loved solving every mystery. When you attach new words to familiar things, they become part of your memory network. 4. Read graded readers and short stories. Graded readers are perfect for this method. They use simple English and real-life stories. As you read, highlight 3 to 5 new words per chapter. Don't stop to translate everything. Just notice how each word fits into the sentence, how it feels in the story. Then later, reread the sentences aloud. Hearing yourself speak in context trains your pronunciation and your memory at the same time. 5. Visualize every scene. While reading or creating stories, close your eyes and imagine it like a movie. When you picture storm, don't just think of letters. See dark clouds, hear thunder, feel the wind. When you imagine success, see yourself smiling, achieving something great. Visual memory plus emotion equals permanent memory. Mini-story practice. 1. Choose 4 new words you've recently learned. 2. Write 1 short story using them all. 3. Read it aloud twice. 4. Try to retell it without looking. By the 3rd day, you'll notice those words come to your mind naturally whenever you need them. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't memorize single words without sentences. Don't translate every new word into your native language. Understand through context. Don't rush through stories. Feel them. Focus on emotion, connection, and repetition within context. Remember this: words are not meant to be memorized. They are meant to be lived. When you learn a word through a story, you don't just remember its meaning, you remember its soul. Every story you read, every sentence you build, becomes part of your English identity. So, don't just study English. Live it. Let stories be your teachers. Let imagination be your classroom. Because when you give life to a word, that word will stay with you forever. Tip 4. Use listening and speaking together. Turn words into real communication. Why this method matters. Many English learners can read and write well, but when it comes to speaking, they freeze. Why? Because they have never practiced connecting what they hear to what they say. They remember words from notebooks, not from real communication. They know what confidence or challenge means, but when they hear them in a fast conversation, their brain can't recognize them quickly. That's why it's not enough to learn English words. You must hear them, speak them, and use them in real sound form. Listening and speaking together train your ears, your tongue, and your brain to work as one. The science behind it. When you only read new words, your brain stores them in a silent area of memory. But when you listen to those words being spoken and then repeat them, your brain activates two additional systems: auditory memory and motor memory. Auditory memory helps you recognize the word instantly when someone else says it. Motor memory helps you pronounce it naturally without thinking. Combining these two creates muscle memory for your language. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. Once you've practiced with your body, you never forget. Example: Noah from Chicago. Let's take Noah, a student from Chicago who wanted to improve his English fluency. He had studied for years, but his spoken English was slow, and he often forgot words during conversation. One day, his mentor said, "Stop reading English silently. Start hearing it. Start saying it." So Noah began a new routine. Every morning, he listened to a 2-minute English audio. He paused after each sentence, repeated it exactly like the speaker, copying pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. At first, it was awkward. His voice sounded strange. But within 2 weeks, his confidence grew. He noticed something magical. When people spoke to him, his brain recognized the words immediately. He didn't translate. He responded naturally. By using his ears and voice together, he finally made English part of his instincts. How you can practice listening and speaking together. 1. Shadow native speakers. Choose a short English video or podcast. Play one sentence, pause, and repeat it exactly as you hear it. Copy the tone, rhythm, and emotion. This is called shadowing, and it's one of the fastest ways to absorb pronunciation and real usage. Example: listen to a sentence like, "I don't give up easily," then repeat it. Same rhythm, same energy. 2. Read aloud. Every day, take any English article, story, or book and read it aloud. Reading aloud connects your eyes, ears, and mouth, building coordination between comprehension and speech. If you make mistakes, don't stop. Keep reading. Fluency grows through flow, not perfection. 3. Record and replay. Yourself. Recording is powerful. It helps you hear your own pronunciation and notice which words are difficult. Pick 5 new words daily. Say them aloud in sentences and record. Then play it back and listen critically. You'll quickly see which words sound natural and which ones you need to practice more. 4. Use real-life listening sources. Don't rely only on textbooks. Use real English materials like YouTube interviews, short stories, audiobooks, news clips, English songs. Listen to how native speakers naturally use new words in context. Notice their stress, pauses, and pronunciation. 5. Repeat and imitate emotion. Fluency is not just about saying words, it's about feeling them. If a speaker sounds excited, repeat with that same emotion. If they sound serious, copy the tone. Emotion helps your brain lock the word deeper into memory. 6. Speak the words you learn that day. Every time you learn new vocabulary, say them aloud several times. Example: if you learned grateful, don't just write it. Say, "I'm grateful for my family." "I'm grateful for today." The more you speak it, the more natural it becomes. Mini practice plan. Here's a simple daily routine. Morning. Listen to a 3-minute English podcast. Repeat one sentence from it 3 times. Afternoon. Choose one new word from the podcast and make your own example aloud. Evening. Record yourself using all 5 new words you learned that day. Just 15 minutes a day. And you'll start recognizing and recalling words faster than ever. Mistakes to avoid. Don't listen passively while doing other tasks. Give your full attention. Don't focus on speed. Focus on clarity and rhythm. Don't fear your own voice. It's your most powerful tool. Don't rely only on subtitles. Listen with focus, then check meaning later. Remember this: you can't remember what you've never heard. Words become part of your brain only when you experience them through sound and speech. Every time you listen actively, every time you repeat out loud, you're building a bridge between understanding and fluency. Listening teaches your brain. Speaking teaches your heart. Fluency doesn't come from silence. It comes from sound. So open your ears, open your mouth, and let English live in your daily rhythm. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Because every sentence you hear, every word you speak, brings you one step closer to true mastery. Tip 5. Review and reuse. Words daily. Make vocabulary a part of your life. Why daily review matters. Learning new words is easy. Remembering them forever. That's the real challenge. Most English learners forget new vocabulary simply because they never see those words again after learning them once. They write them in a notebook, close it, and move on. But memory doesn't work like that. Your brain keeps only what it feels is important. So if you don't reuse a word, your brain assumes it isn't useful, and it quietly deletes it. The secret is simple. Repetition through real use. When you review and reuse words daily, in speaking, writing, and even thinking, you convince your brain that these words truly matter. How the brain strengthens words. Imagine you're walking through a forest. The first time you walk a new path, the grass is tall and rough. But if you walk there again and again, the path becomes clear and easy. That's how memory works. Every time you reuse a word, you walk that path again, and it becomes smoother, stronger, and permanent. So, reviewing words isn't about boredom. It's about building a mental highway, a path your thoughts can easily travel whenever you need that word. Example: Oliver from Boston. Let's take Oliver, a college student from Boston. He used to learn 5 new words daily, words like adapt, curious, and inspire. But within a week, he forgot most of them. Then one day, his English coach told him, "Oliver, if you want to remember words, stop collecting them. Start using them." From that day, Oliver began a new method. Morning. He reviewed his words while brushing his teeth. He spoke each word aloud in a sentence. Afternoon. He texted his friends using one new word in every message. Evening. He wrote a short paragraph using all 5 words he learned that week. After 1 month, his vocabulary doubled. He didn't just know the words, he could use them naturally in conversation. That's the power of daily review and reuse. How you can practice daily review and reuse one Speak Your Words every day. The fastest way to remember words is to use your voice. Say them aloud, even when no one is around. Example: if today's word is grateful, say, "I'm grateful for this morning. I'm grateful for my learning." Speaking connects your brain to your tongue, turning memory into fluency. 2. Use words in daily thoughts. Don't wait for conversation. Use new words in your mind. While cooking, walking, or working, make small English sentences in your head. Example: this coffee tastes wonderful. I feel motivated today. You're training your inner voice, the same voice that will help you speak fluently later. 3. Write mini journals every night before sleeping. Write 5 sentences using the words you learned that day. It doesn't have to be perfect grammar, just real. Example: today, I felt confident while speaking. The meeting was productive. The sky looked magnificent. Writing helps lock words in visual memory while connecting them to emotion. 4. Use flashcards and apps with purpose. You can use apps like Anki or Quizlet to review words daily, But don't just flip cards mechanically. Say each word aloud. Create one original sentence with it before moving to the next. If you can use the word in a fresh way each time, you'll never forget it. 5. Create thematic days. Choose a theme for each day. Monday, emotions. Happy, confident, nervous. Tuesday, food. Tasty, delicious, spicy. Wednesday, work, meeting, project, deadline. When you speak, think, or write, use words from that day's theme repeatedly. This not only strengthens memory, but also builds topic-based fluency. 6. Teach someone else. Teaching is the ultimate form of learning. When you explain a new word to a friend or family member, even in simple English, your brain reviews it from a deeper level. You understand it, use it, and remember it. 7. Notice and reuse in conversations. Pay attention to real English around you. In movies, podcasts, or social media. When you hear a word you recently learned, pause and smile. That moment tells your brain, "Hey, I know this one." Then, try to reuse it in your next sentence. For example, if you hear the word challenge in a YouTube video, later say to yourself, "Learning English is a challenge, but I'm ready for it." That act of recognition cements the word in your long-term memory. Mini routine to remember forever. Time action goal. Morning, speak yesterday's words out loud. Activate pronunciation plus confidence. Afternoon, use 2 new words in messages or social media. Practical usage. Evening, write a short journal entry. Connect memory plus emotion. Weekend, record yourself using the week's words. Review progress. Do this for 30 days, and you'll never forget words again. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't cram too many new words at once. Focus on 5 a day. Don't study words in silence. Say them aloud. Don't ignore old words. Revisit them weekly. Review daily, reuse creatively, and speak confidently. Remember this truth. Repetition creates mastery, not talent. Even the most fluent speakers you admire today are not born gifted. They're simply consistent. If you feed your brain English every day, even for 5 minutes, you're building something powerful. Every word you reuse today becomes a tool for tomorrow. Don't wait for perfection. Grow it daily. You're not just learning words. You're building your voice. So review daily. Reuse fearlessly. Repeat until English feels like your second skin. Because true fluency doesn't come from studying hard. It comes from living English every single day. Tip 6. Connect your emotions and environment to every word you learn. Make English feel real. Why emotions are the missing key. Have you ever noticed how easily you remember emotional moments, but forget random details of your day? You still remember your first success, your first failure, your favorite song, or that one compliment that made you smile. That's because emotions are the brain's strongest memory glue. Your brain was built to remember what moves you, not what bores you. Now think about your English journey. When you study without emotion, when you simply repeat words, your brain doesn't feel anything. It says, "This isn't important," and lets those words fade away. But when you learn with emotion, when you connect a word to your feelings or your environment, your brain lights up. Suddenly, learning becomes natural, powerful, and unforgettable. The science behind emotional learning. When you feel something, happiness, surprise, sadness, excitement, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and adrenaline. These chemicals strengthen the connections between your neurons, making memory permanent. That's why when you connect a word with an emotional experience, your brain gives it a special tag, a tag that says, "This matters. Don't forget it." For example, if you learn the word joy while watching a beautiful sunset, that word will always carry that feeling of peace and happiness. Every time you hear it again, your mind returns to that moment. That's how emotional learning transforms English from a subject into an experience. Example: Emily from Liverpool. Let's talk about Emily, a 23-year-old student from Liverpool who always struggled to remember English vocabulary. She tried every method: writing, reading, listening, but still forgot most words after a few days. One day, her teacher told her, "Emily, stop learning words like a machine. Start learning like a human being. Feel them." So Emily decided to change her method. Every morning, she chose one new word and found a real emotion or situation to connect it with. When she learned grateful, she stood on her balcony, looked at the sunrise, and whispered, "I'm grateful for this morning." When she learned fearless, she remembered the time she spoke in front of her class, shaking but confident. When she learned hope, she thought of her dream to travel abroad one day. Within months, English became part of her feelings. She didn't just know words, she felt them, and that made her vocabulary come alive forever. How to connect emotions and environment to English words. 1. Feel the word when you learn it. Don't say it mechanically. Feel it. If the word is angry, recall a moment when you truly felt angry. If the word is peaceful, imagine lying under a quiet sky. Your goal isn't to study the word, it's to experience it. 2. Use real surroundings as triggers. Your environment can be your greatest teacher. When you see the sun, think bright. When it rains, think calm, wet, or refreshing. When you eat, think delicious, sweet, or spicy. Connect English with your world. Don't keep it inside notebooks. Bring it into life. 3. Speak words. During real feelings. Whenever you experience a strong emotion, happiness, stress, excitement, say it in English. If you're frustrated, whisper to yourself, "I'm frustrated." If you're proud, say, "I'm proud of myself." This immediate emotional connection makes the word unforgettable. 4. Visualize with all your senses. When learning a new word, close your eyes and create a multisensory image. For example, if the word is celebration, imagine a birthday. People smiling, music playing, cake being cut. See it, hear it, feel it. The richer your imagination, the stronger your memory. 5. Journal through feelings. Write short emotional journal entries using your words. I felt motivated today when I practiced speaking. The sunset looked beautiful and peaceful. I'm confident I'll speak English fluently one day. Your emotions make the words alive on paper and in your memory. 6. Talk to yourself in real situations. This is one of the most powerful yet underrated habits. When something happens in your day, describe it to yourself in English. When you drop something, "Oops, that was clumsy." When you finish a task, "That feels satisfying." When you achieve a goal, "I'm proud of this." By doing this, you're not studying English, you're living it. Create emotional anchors. Let's create what we call emotional anchors. Every new English word you learn, attach it to a real emotion or a real scene. Example: courage. Remember a moment when you took a risk. Kindness. Think of someone who helped you when you needed it. Lonely. Recall a quiet evening when you felt alone but strong. Each anchor ties your emotion to a word. and words tied to emotion never disappear. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't memorize words without context or feeling. Don't study when your mind is dull or distracted. Don't rush. Give each word emotional space. Learn slowly, feel deeply, and speak naturally. Remember this truth. Fluency is not built in your head. It's built in your heart. You can fill your mind with thousands of English words, but unless you feel them, they will never become part of you. But the moment you attach emotion, even just one feeling, those words stay for life. English is not just a language. It's an expression of your emotions, your thoughts, your world. So don't study English like homework. Experience it like life itself. When you smile, when you cry, when you dream, say it in English. Because when English lives in your emotions, it never leaves your memory. Tip 7. Turn everything you learn into daily communication habits. Make English as natural as breathing. Why this final step changes everything. You've learned how to connect meaning, how to use stories, how to review, and how to add emotion. But now comes the most important part. Using English every day, everywhere, in every small thing you do. Because what truly keeps a language alive in your brain isn't studying. It's living it. If you stop using your new words, they disappear. But if you speak, listen, write, and think in English daily, even for a few minutes, your mind starts treating English as part of your natural identity. This isn't about learning anymore. It's about becoming the person who lives through English. The power of habit in language. Habits create fluency. What you do occasionally gives short results. What you do daily becomes permanent. Think of it like this. Brushing your teeth doesn't make them clean forever. You do it daily to keep them that way. English works the same way. Daily use keeps your brain connected to the language, sharp and confident. Every sentence you speak, every word you use, every small moment you express yourself in English. That's how fluency grows quietly day by day. Example: Daniel from London. Let's talk about Daniel, a 25-year-old from London who once struggled with expressing himself in English. Even though he lived in an English-speaking country, he had studied grammar for years, learned hundreds of new words, but still froze during conversations. One day, his mentor said something that changed his life. Daniel, you don't need more words. You just need to use the ones you already know, every single day. So Daniel began to form small daily habits. He switched his phone to English. He spoke to himself in English while getting ready. He described his day aloud. I'm making breakfast. I'm going to the bus stop. I'm meeting my friend at noon. At night, he watched short English videos and repeated 2 sentences from each one. Within 3 months, English wasn't something Daniel learned anymore. It was something he lived. He began to think in English, dream in English, and speak naturally without fear. That's the magic of daily communication habits. They turn language into lifestyle. How you can build daily English habits. 1. Talk to yourself, out loud. This is one of the most powerful and private forms of practice. Narrate your actions throughout the day. When you cook, say what you're doing. When you walk, describe what you see. When you plan, speak your thoughts. Example: I'm washing the dishes right now. The weather looks beautiful today. I'm a little tired, but I'll finish my work. You're not waiting for someone to practice with. You're practicing with life itself. 2. Think in English. Train your inner voice. Thinking in your native language and translating slows you down. Start small. When you see a cup, think cup, not your local word for it. When you feel hungry, think, I'm hungry. With time, your brain rewires itself. English becomes automatic. 3. Use English in daily communication. Send short English messages to friends. Comment on English YouTube videos. Write your shopping list or to-do list in English. The goal is not perfection, it's connection. The more your brain uses English in real-life moments, the stronger your recall becomes. 4. Set micro-goals. Don't aim for an hour of practice immediately. Start with 5 minutes daily. 5 minutes of reading. 5 minutes of speaking. 5 minutes of listening. Micro-goals lead to massive transformation because they're sustainable. 5. Surround yourself with English everywhere. Make your environment your teacher. Change your phone, laptop, and apps to English. Watch English YouTubers. Listen to English podcasts while cooking or exercising. Label objects in your room with sticky notes. Mirror, chair, window. When your environment speaks English, your brain can't ignore it. 6. Celebrate small wins. Every time you remember a new word, say it fluently, or understand a sentence you couldn't before, celebrate. Say, yes, I'm improving. Confidence builds motivation, and motivation builds fluency. Your 24-hour English routine. Here's a simple plan you can follow daily. Time habit result. Morning. Listen to a short English podcast while getting ready. Trains your ear. Afternoon. Speak one short monologue about your morning builds fluency. Evening. Write 5 sentences using new words. Strengthens memory. Night watch a short English video. Repeat key lines. Reinforces confidence. Follow this for 30 days and you'll notice that English no longer feels foreign. It feels natural. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't study only on weekends. Small daily steps beat long, irregular sessions. Don't wait for perfect conditions to practice. Start anywhere, anytime. Don't fear mistakes. Mistakes are proof that you're growing. Keep English alive in your routine, and it will reward you with fluency. Remember this truth. Fluency isn't about knowing thousands of words. It's about using the ones you already know confidently every day. English doesn't live in your notebook. It lives in your mouth, your mind, and your moments. The more you use it, the more it becomes yours. The more you speak, the more you remember. The more you practice, the less you fear. So, make English your habit. Speak it when you wake up. Think in it when you travel. End your day with it when you sleep. Because when English becomes part of your lifestyle, you don't just learn the language. You become fluent without even realizing it. Friends, remember, fluency is not a dream. It's a daily decision. If this video inspired you, don't stop here. Press like, share it with others who dream of speaking English, and subscribe to our channel. Together, we're not just learning English, we're changing our lives through it. Your journey to mastery starts now. Let's grow one word at a time.